Well, good day. So, for today's video, we're gonna talk about the first cartoon appearance of that DC Comics villain known as the Plantmaster. So, alright, let's go.
Yeah! So, we start off in an airplane with a bunch of Ivy League science professors flying to a small island to build a research center. But, unbeknownst to them, this island is not uninhabited. It has many greenhouses and other structures, as well as a small army of people trying to protect this island's secret, as they are led by a man named Straal. Huh. You're meaning to tell me they want to build a research center there, but not a single person went to the island to check it out? To see the viability if they could build something? And oh, if somebody else is already there? No? Huh. That doesn't sound very Ivy League-ish, but okay. But as it turns out, this Straal guy ain't too happy with these intruders, so he attacks the plane with, plant spores? Really? Not like a missile, an anti-aircraft weapon of any kind or something? Plant spores, eh? Yeah, that sounds great. And, well, I guess I'll eat crow because these plant spores are actually a very formidable weapon as they jam up the plane's engine, sending the plane hurtling towards the ocean below. Luckily, one of the Ivy League professors on board is none other than Dr. Ray Palmer, aka the Atom. With danger afoot, he turns small into his atom form and hops towards the engines to see what the problem is. And he starts to unclog the engines of this pollen, which also sounds really incredibly dangerous for such a tiny guy standing in front of such a powerful engine. If this engine turns back on, is he getting sucked in too? Cause then you're back at square one and you're completely atomized. Hey? No. Thankfully, he does unclog one of the engines with, no disaster effects upon him, and this one engine is enough to save the plane. Later, the plane lands safely on the island, but Straal is angry. They shouldn't be here. So he uses another plant attack on them, this time in the form of knockout plant gas. So therefore, the Atom, Dr. Brown, and the rest of the professors completely pass out. Luckily, the Atom was too small to see, so as he comes to, he finds out that the professors are all kidnapped. But not the pilots who were flying the plane. Are they still on the plane? Does Straal and his men not know that pilots fly planes? Man, hey? Are they still knocked out? So many questions. Anywho, as the Atom breaks into Straal's greenhouse lair with plans to save the professors, Straal's cat has plans of its own for the Atom. And I mean lunch plans. So as this cat stalks him, it actually doesn't really do anything to the Atom except for yell, even though he was right on top of the Atom, But this is all very convenient because this allows the Atom to completely beat up all of Straal's guards with everything and anything at his disposal, including walnut-sized seeds, garden utensils, he does the Sideshow Bob trick with the rake on some of the guards, which, fantastic, right? And he completely unarms all of these baddies. He even ties them up with a bunch of plant vines. But Straal straight up grabs the Atom like he's a toy or something and stops the Atom's rampage. So, being in the clutches of your enemy would be a really great time for the Atom to maybe change his size, right? Grow bigger and break out of his grip, or grow smaller and just fall through? Something. But no, we can't do that. The best thing would be to stay captured and be put into a plant experiment. With plants powered by electricity? Wow, this is like the island of Dr. Moreau, but plants. The atom quickly burrows through the dirt in this contained experiment faster than a mole or an earthworm can do. Is that one of the atom's powers, just to like dig through stuff? Well, anywho, he finds the energy capsule that is superpowering these plants and uses the plants to explode the experiment. Boom! The experiment was a failure, there, Straal. Which was a pretty powerful explosion, and like the atom was like right on top of it, so like, is he still alive? Well, yes, because luckily he's protected by plot armor. And with that, the atom continues to beat Straal to a planty pulp, rendering him completely useless. So the day is saved! Hooray! The Coast Guard shows up, Straal and his goons are arrested, and the professors are released. And even better, like they already have a whole bunch of infrastructure on the island, that they can use for their research center. So a whole bunch of university money is saved. Wow, it's win-wins all around. And with that, that is the end of this Tiny Tale.
So yeah, like not too bad of a little episode. A little cheesy, a little silly, but also some really good fight scenes and, a pretty decent story. And those fight scenes, eh? Man, actually really good. It is pretty cool to see someone as small as the Atom beating the crap out of people basically 10 times his size. You would think, right? Like, you would think it would be so much easier to stop the Atom when he's picking a fight with you. Basically like stopping a chihuahua from attacking you. But nay! This Atom character, he is wily. And the thing that I think is the best is that none of these Ivy League professors can connect the dots to the Atom just appearing out of nowhere and Dr. Palmer disappearing. Like, really, there's no connection? Man, like, they even question it. It's like, the Atom was here, but you weren't. Why is that, Dr. Palmer? And Dr. Palmer's only response was, you don't think I'm the Atom, do you? What an incredibly weak argument! But still, strong enough of an argument because everyone sees Dr. Palmer as a weakling, I guess. But, why not press that issue a little further? The Atom showed up on this small little island in the middle of nowhere. Like, what are the odds of that happening? Also, in conjunction with one of your fellow professors being missing. And then we get to the Plantmaster. Which seems pretty silly. You're gonna fight somebody with plants? Like, come on, right? But, really, right? Like, if you can weaponize a plant, like, that is actually a pretty good weapon. As we've seen with 2 different weaponized plants in this episode, you could also have a plant that shoots, like, thorns or something, like a whole bunch of little bullets, or really anything, right? And plants are everywhere, so you would never know if this was actually a weaponized plant or not. Pretty good, Plantmaster. Pretty good. Also, I do have to appreciate the Tarzan yell that the Atom gave out as he was swinging on the vine. A homage to the classics, which is always good. So, if you haven't seen these little episodes before, I would suggest you do. It's like a small, quick little story, but it's actually pretty darn good. But with that, we do have some behind-the-scenes kind of things, with the Plantmaster, with some other stuff, I'm sure, all that kind of going on over here.
So yes, indeed, hey? The Plantmaster! Pretty interesting character with a pretty interesting set of plant powers. Well, I guess technically more like having power over plants, but you know what I mean. So let us take a look as to where this character came from. And that would be DC Comics. So, the Plantmaster first appeared in The Atom #1 in 1962. As we learn, his real name is Dr. Jason Woodrue, and he has all knowledge of things botanical. Also, he ain't from around here. even though he looks like an Earth human, he is not. He comes from an interdimensional world named Floria. A world that is absolutely teeming with a whole bunch of plant life of all kinds, including a whole bunch of little creatures that live amongst the plants. You know, a tree nymph or like a tree fairy, those little magical creatures, well, they live in abundance over there. And all of these little tree magical creatures were very concerned about Dr. Woodrue. The fact that he uses plant life for his own evil gains made them all realize that Dr. Woodrue should not be on their planet. And so, they all got together and they exiled Dr. Jason Woodrue out of Floria. Which is good news for them, one less evil person, but is really bad news for us, because the other end of the exile portal would be our planet. Dr. Woodrue still had all of his knowledge of plants, plant manipulation, and all the things he can do to control plant life, and he used all of that knowledge for all of his evil deeds on our planet, such as using plants to rob a bank, which really is a fantastic idea. They created a very strong acid that could eat through the money vault, get the money, and leave. And really with that, like, what could the police do? Arrest a flower? They'd be laughed off the force. He could also use giant vines to crush skyscrapers in the city. As I said before, man, like, these plant powers may seem cheesy, but really, man, quite powerful. And with Dr. Woodrue, you know, having such a mastery over plants, he sometimes refers to himself as Plantmaster, which, you know, really isn't that imaginative of a, you know, nickname, but it is right to the point. So for our featured episode, we also have a Plantmaster, which is and isn't, you know, really Dr. Woodrue. First off, his name, he goes by Straal. He does have mastery over plants and uses them as weapons, and Straal takes more of a military approach to his operations, having a uniform, having, you know, fellow soldiers, whereas Dr. Woodrue is more of a scientist about the whole thing. And beyond that, we don't really know anything else about this Straal guy. He could very well have come from a different dimension, or not, like, we don't know. They never explain it to us. And his name could be Dr. Jason Woodrue, and just goes by Straal. All of these things are quite unknown, but still, it is pretty cool to see a Plantmaster going up against the Atom, seeing as he was one of the earlier foes of the Silver Age Atom. But for now, with the Plantmaster, that's, you know, pretty much all you need to know. Dude knows a lot about plants, and he uses that to his advantage for his own personal gains. This character will take a bunch of changes down the road, like, for example, he will take an experimental formula and transform into a plant hybrid, known as the Floronic Man, and will fight more so against the Swamp Thing, which, well, you know, really makes a whole lot of sense. But that would be for another video. Pretty much we are caught up with this character for now, so this is where I will end things and I will go to bed. So, with this, that, those, and the other things, I guess that's that. Also, if you're interested, I created my own comic book channel, 215 Comics, and currently I have created my own cartoon series, The Adventures of the Density, and recently started a radio series featuring my newest character, Elastomorph, with more titles to come. So if you want to check it out, I'll leave a link up top here to that channel, and some links at the end of the video. Yay! Right on, and there you go. So thanks for watching the video. I hope you liked it as much as I did making it. Also, feel free to check out the source material that I featured in this video. And if you want to leave a comment on anything you may have liked or things I might have missed in this, you know, feel free to do so. Or anything else, you know, just to say hi. That's cool too. And other than that, you know, have a great day. Thanks.